All right, I'm bringing you another episode of a sneak peek for the Self Storage Summit that's coming up November 19th to the 21st. Today's episode is going to be with Brad and Minsley from 10 Federal. And we're going to go in depth when it comes to unmanned facilities, what it takes to operate, run it efficiently and effectively, more importantly. So, this is going to be a great one. I'm really excited for you guys to be able to see this full presentation when it comes out here shortly. But for right now, here's a little taste for you. Again, if you haven't registered, go to the selfstoragesummit.com today. Get registered, and I'll see you on the 19th.
And welcome to the Self Storage Show.
Hi everyone, this is Jim Ross with the Self Storage Summit. In this session, we got a great one for you. For all your self storage owners that have ever thought about having an unmanned facility. I want to hear from this how it's done directly from guy's done this time and time again. He's been there, done it, and he's doing it now. So I'm excited to introduce you to Brad Minsley. He's the expert when it comes to unmanned facilities, and he's here to talk today about exactly that. So hey Brad, thanks for joining me.
Hey Jim, appreciate the invitation. Happy to be part of the first self-storage summit, and look forward to sharing any knowledge that we can help you and your viewers out with.
Good. Well, obviously it's one of those the topics that comes up more and more, as kind of the years go on about doing unmanned facilities. And as soon as I put the summit together, I'm like, well, I'm definitely going to talk about that. And there's only one guy I would even want to have come on to discuss that. So thanks for taking the time and coming on.
Yeah, happy to.
I guess right off the top, just kind of give us a quick little introduction, who you are and kind of how you got into it.
Yeah, so Brad Minsley, 10 Federal. We've been doing unmanned self-storage operations for going on 5 years now. We are now operating close to 45 facilities, all unmanned. Some of those are owned by 10 Federal. Some of those are now third-party clients, and we're doing it from our base of operations in Raleigh, North Carolina, but there's facilities as far away as Arizona now that we're running completely unmanned. We found a lot of lessons, good and bad, learned along the way, and happy to share those today. But at the end of the day, I can tell you that it is a successful model. I think there's going to be a lot more stores operating this way in the future, especially the smaller ones. Yep. And even if you don't go fully unmanned, there's still a lot of automation that every facility should employ.
And then that's exactly it. I mean, it's, I know you managers out here are watching this right now. You're like, oh no, the rebels are taking over, that kind of thing. No, it's honestly, it's kind of like one of those where you can mash together with some owners and managers that makes your job better. But again, like some of those sites when it makes sense to go totally unmanned. I have a couple I'm thinking of right now that I do some consulting and stuff with, that it makes total sense. And I get the question sometimes of like, well, okay, where do I start and what do I do? And I'm not the guy for that. So yeah, I thought maybe it'd be good. Like you just said, you kind of been there as far as like, oh, made a mistake here and lived and learned as you went along. So you can kind of help give us some pitfalls to watch out for. So yeah, I mean, kind of I guess start off with as far as like some sites, is there kind of a template, it's such a really good fit for something like this?
Yeah, I mean, where unmanned gravitates towards is a solution for the smaller facility. As any facility owner knows, when you get 40,000 feet or less, it gets expensive to support that full-time property manager.
Yep.
And that's a real struggle. And so unmanned lends itself best to those smaller facilities, because what I see a lot of owners do is either they've burdened themselves with that manager and they're having a tough time making the numbers work, or they go a different route and they're kind of unmanned already, but they're just not providing the best customer experience that they could, because now they have limited office hours, they have limited customer service, and there's a lot of systems that they could deploy that will improve that customer service. And that's really where the property starts to transition towards what I think, we're still struggling as an industry, I think, to put a proper vernacular wrapped around these facilities. Not just that they're unmanned, it's not just that they're automated, but they are using modern technology to really provide a better customer experience without necessarily having to have a person located at the site.
Yeah, and I think as long as you're coming at it from that standpoint of customer-centric first, and really looking at what you can make the customer experience better, then it kind of, you start from there and then, see what tools are available to you. So
Right.
again, I guess let's just kind of start off from beginning as far as a foundation of, well, what do you need? If you're gonna start going down this road to an unmanned facility, what are the essential things that you got to have?
Sure. So we've broken it down into 3 silos, right? You have customer acquisition, call it the leasing side of things.
Yeah.
You have recurring operations, and then you have monitoring, right? Monitoring being the idea that nobody's there to tell if the vehicle gate's working or whatnot. So you have to have systems to actively notify you if something is not working properly.
Sure.
So I think the easiest part of that, or at least the part that the industry has addressed the best so far, is the customer acquisition side. So that starts with marketing and goes all the way through the execution of a lease. And so marketing, drive-by is a natural fit, but after that, what we're finding is most of our customers come through the internet. And so you have to be effective with your online presence and marketing channels. We like using Google AdWords. We like using Sparefoot. And we also are messing around with some of the Facebook lookalike campaigns and things of that sort.
Really?
And we track our return on investment in each of those verticals, frankly, in every marketing channel we've used. And we've used all of them: church bulletins, yellow pages, flyers, mailers, newspaper ads, Craigslist list. I mean, I don't think there's a marketing channel that we haven't tried. And using unique 1-800 numbers and unique email addresses are all not apparent to the customer that they're different, but allows us to know how they arrive to our facility. We can then extremely precisely track the return on those investments. And I can tell you that in most markets, Google AdWords is still the best option out there. Sparefoot is right up there with them, and then it drops off sharply after that. So those are the 2 ways that we get folks to our facilities electronically.
Yep.
And everybody, I recommend, should familiarize themselves with those 2 avenues and give it a try if you haven't already.
Thanks for supporting the show. I want to let you know that we've just opened up our brand new free private Facebook group. There I'll be having some extra special content not found anywhere else. If you really want your facility to be a success in today's market, then this is going to be the place for you. You can request to join us at selfstoragecommunity.com or search for Self Storage Domination Community on Facebook.